Hey guys, it's Munky here from Optima Forums. Today I'm going to teach you how to swap your stock shift knob to the new Faces shift knob. This is a fairly new knob that's available through the K5 Optima store, and I was lucky enough to get one ahead of time so I can record this video for you guys. This is definitely one of the more complicated installs. There's a lot to it. We're going to have to take out the stock shifter, this little surround piece, to get down into there. Then we're going to have to take off this center console, this whole section here, front to back, so we can get underneath here and take out the shifter assembly. The reason we're going to do that is because this new shift knob comes with a shorter shifter, so it's probably going to take it down about an inch or so. So it'll be a little shorter, it'll look better. You have a fancy new toy to play with. I'm going to do this in a few stages, so let's get started. First off, you're going to want to make sure your center console is completely clean, since we're going to take it out. Everything out of there, everything out of there, everything out of there. Next, we're going to remove this shift knob, the stock one. Excuse the crappy lighting. Okay, reach underneath here, you'll feel a little lip. You can see my finger catching on it right there. Pull up, and that'll take the trim out. You just pull that up over the knob, like so. It's usually pretty easy to get this knob off. You just pull straight up. A little harder for me because I got a camera in my hand. Let me set this down. Little elbow grease. Alright. Now I got the shift knob off. See the shifter there? Eventually we're going to take this entire thing out of the base here and swap it for the new one. Now we're going to remove this plastic trim that's around the shifter base. That includes cigarette lighters, USB dock, stuff like that. I usually grab it about right here underneath the D. It's a good point to get a grip on it. Grab it and pull straight up, like so. You might feel like you're going to break it, but it's in there pretty good. It's pretty sturdy. Grab it like this, pull straight out. Usually I have my car in neutral when I do this because it's a little easier to avoid the knob. But I don't want the card dinging on me while I'm trying to record this video. You might have to put it back in neutral to get it back in. We'll deal with that later. You're going to want to disconnect everything on here to make sure you can take this entire piece out. I'm going to do that now. Okay, I got the 3 harnesses disconnected. And unfortunately I have these wires here from my LED cup holders that I have taped in there because they kept falling out. So I'm going to see if I can work around that. I may have to remove those. Now that we got all this done here, we're going to begin taking the actual center console out. You're going to have to take out these 2 screws down here. That's a Phillips, and that's a Phillips. Also going to want to remove the screws that are underneath here, this plastic panel here. And grab it up top and pull on it to get access. So, see the screw right there? That also holds in the front of the console. Should be one on the other side as well. When you get to the screw on this side, you're going to have to grab it from back here, pull it around like this, and use the pressure of it to pop it out. Like so. You'll see screws right here. I believe it's both of them. I'm going to go ahead and take them both out to be on the safe side. Okay, you got the screws off both sides there. And there. Now, I have to get the bolts out of the bottom of there. Those are 2 10mm bolts, which you can get with a socket wrench or anything similar. Now, with these 2 10mm bolts out, you should be able to just grab it and move it like so. It should be loose. Let's go to the back seat and see if we can pull this out here without messing anything up. And there goes my light. Alright, let's see here. Alright, move to the back seat so I can get the center console out. Went ahead and took those 2 10mm bolts out so everything should be loose. Should be able to move it fairly easily. Sorry about the crappy lighting. I'm going to grab it and just pull up, and you'll see it'll all come loose here. Let me get another shot from the front. You can see here, now that I pulled it from the back, see how it's separated? see if I can multitask here. Alright. Grab this here. Excuse the shakiness. Hope I don't make anyone sick. Okay. Move the harnesses out of the way. I see this thing here is catching on the... this is the air duct that goes to the back seats here. Let's see if we can lift it up. Like so. Let's see underneath all that. Alright. Nice and careful. And we're free. I'm just going to go ahead and set this up out of the way in the back seat. Look at that. Doesn't quite belong, but whatever. Alright, now that we got the center console out of the way, and it's also holding my light, rather convenient, we're going to break loose this thing right here. It's held in by 4 12mm bolts. Here, here, there's one down right here. Let me grab the light so you can see. See one right there. There's also one right there. Take those 4 bolts out so we can move on. Now that you got it loose, you're going to have to pop this off right here. Was connected like that right there. Just grab it. I put my thumb right here, put it right here, pull it off. Just let it sit loose. Just remember where it goes. Next, I want to take this off right here. 3 Phillips head screws. I'm going to grab my screwdriver and do that now. Once you get the screws out, you should be able to grab it right here. Just pull it out like so. Just let it sit off to the side. Alright, now that we got that little piece hanging off here, we're going to have to remove this thing right here. Now it looks like a flat piece of plastic here. That's actually the base of it. It's a long, skinny plastic rod that goes all the way over to the other side to hold in the shifter assembly that's inside of the base. Now to do that, you have to flip it over. I found it's fairly difficult to flip it over until you disconnect this harness here. It's really tight. So disconnect this harness, flip it over like so, and you'll see this little prong here. See that there? Get a pair of needle nose pliers. Grip it like so. And you're going to want to squeeze and push it out. I have to set the camera down to do this. But you need to know where it is. Once you squeeze this and push it through, you're going to have to do that again once you get to the bottom here. You can see where it goes through. Once you squeeze it through there, and pull it through a little bit, you're going to have to squeeze it again either here or here. I can't quite remember. Alright, to give you a little tip here, as you pull this out, this is probably one of the more difficult parts of the install here. This little thing is in there really good. You originally pinch it here, push it through. It does not budge once you get it through there. You can't pull it from the other end or you risk breaking these little tabs here. So what I've been doing is you get a screwdriver and stick it in there and just slowly tap it very lightly. I've been doing it with the side of my pliers here. Just tap it, especially if it's on one of the 2 sides of the prongs, because that helps it pop through. So you want to get a long enough screwdriver that I can go through all this. As you can see here, right now it's sitting right here. So I'm going to have to squeeze it to get it through that stage 2. And then possibly hit it with the screwdriver again to get it through here. Just be patient, be careful, because this is a very important piece. Okay, after a little trial and error, I found the best way to get this through the second stage here was to actually put the Phillips head on one of the sides of the pieces that you squeeze together, stick it in between the little wall here, one of the pieces, and just tap it really lightly. The force from going down will push it in and push it out. So now I'm at the point here where I should be able to pull this the rest of the way through. At least enough to get this out, hopefully. And again, you can always stick a screwdriver in there, tap it lightly, just don't damage this piece. Okay, now we got this piece completely pulled out. It came out from the other side like this. So let's turn it right side up so you can see where we are. Here's a shifter assembly now. The little pin that goes to the bottom is now out of there. To be able to take this out, we're going to push this forward a little bit here. That's the little lock. Lets you take it out of gear. You'll see it just falls right out. Pull it out from the bottom. And there's the old shifter assembly. Ready to swap. Okay. Here I have the old shifter assembly and the new shifter that's going to go in. You can see, when I line them up, the difference in height there. It's going to drop down a little bit, which is great. I got it lined up here. Now to be able to get this old one out, you're going to have to pop this out, like so, as if you're shifting it sideways into the manual mode. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing this one-handed here. Just slide right out like so. And this is going to go around the new one. Same way that went around the old one. Let's take the old one out. Be sure to push this back in so you don't lose this little piece. It's a little notch that holds it in. Just push it in. Pop it back into place. There's your old shifter. Here's the new one. To be able to do the new one, you're going to want to pop that out too. So push it from the other side. Like so. See? It's pushed out as well. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, got it around here. Let's see if we can get it to work. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna get things lined up. You can see here it's got little spots to fit in. You just gotta get it lined up. Let me set the camera down real quick. Okay, one thing I noticed when I pop this one out, see how that's a little sideways? You're gonna want to have to pop that out and recorrect it so it's sitting there straight. So let me do that real quick. Okay, after I corrected it, I was able to line everything up and pop it back into place. Takes a little bit of patience. Don't force it. Line the bottom part up first, and then line this part up right here. You'll see it's got a little notch in there that fits in. Once you get it all fit in, your new shifter will be ready to go. So I'm going to pop it back in the bottom. While I get grease all over my camera from the shifter. Pop it right through here. Let's see here. I want to line up these holes with this right here. Just remember, that's where the little pin goes that holds everything in place. So once you get that in there, we'll be able to move it up. You'll see shifter pin there will go back into place. And now it's locked and parked. You may have to move this around a little bit just to get it to fit. Once it's done, you want to put this pin back through and pop it into place. I'm going to do that now. Alright, got the pin back into place now. You can see the base of it right there. A little clip right there. So it's holding everything in. I definitely recommend you put some grease right here where the little pin goes up and down. Let me show you on the old shifter right here. Put some grease right there, make sure it's nice and fluid. You don't want it sticking, especially once you get in there and put it together. Seems mine's a little rough. If it sticks, I'm gonna have to pop it open and put some grease in there. I don't have any at the moment right now. If you have some, get some, put it in there. Make sure it's nice and fluid here. That's in park. If I push this black thing forward with my pinky, I can test it. Push it forward, push down, go through the gears, pop over, pop back, and Back into park here. Sorry, I know it's hard to see. I'm doing this all one-handed, so I apologize. Just make sure it functions, just like the old one did. And now we'll move forward with putting it back together. Next step is to put the sensor back into place. Just put it in the little grooves where it came out of. Bottom first, it looks like. It helps. Yeah, there we go. Put the bottom in first, work its way in, put 3 Phillips screws back in. Okay, I have to get this back screwed in here. I want to connect the shift linkage. Just have to push it on there. Line it up, pop it back in. Make sure that little plastic piece is sticking out so it's on there nice and tight. Next, I'm going to put the shifter base back onto the frame of the car. And it's with those 4 12mm bolts. And make sure you hook this harness back up if you disconnected it. With the base attached, it's a perfect time to test it out before you get everything back together. Drive seems to be working alright. Neutral, reverse, back to park. Manual mode still works alright. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Perfect. Back over, up, reverse, and park. So far so good. Alright, let's go. Next up, my light holder, also known as the console. Let's move this over here. We're going to lower this console back down into place and see if we can work it in. I'm not going to try and hold the camera this time. Just use your best judgment to get it fit into place and make sure everything's lined up so you can put the screws back in. I'll do that now. Okay, got the console back into place. You can tell because I got the screw holes there lined up, ready to go. You can also open this up, make sure you can see the bolt holes there. So make sure you put in the 2 10mm bolts, 2 Phillips screws here, one on the side over here, which I can't see because I'm not moving, and the 2 over on this side. Make sure it's all secure, and we'll move on to the next step. Now that we got the console back into place and all secured, make sure you pull these wiring harnesses through, because I didn't do it the first time and I had to disconnect it to get them back through. Make sure these are sitting here loose. Make sure this is secured. And now we're going to have to get the old knob off of the shift boot. You have to take a flathead screwdriver or something similar and pop these out to be able to get the knob out. And I'm going to do that now. Now we got the shift boot loose. The old knob is out of there. Got this little plastic ring here that went around the old knob. Leave that in there, that's fine. Take it, face it the right way. We're going to get your new shift knob with the cable here. Feed the cable in first. You might have to tilt it in, like twist it a little sideways like so. Just feed it through there. So it pops out the other side. I have to finagle it a bit. Hold on here. There we go. We'll pull this through. You'll see it's got a little channel here for the wire harness to go in. So it'll fit snugly right in there. Now there's nothing in here to hold it into place on the boot, but they give you this little ring and this hose clamp, excuse me. It's going to go around this right here for the time being. Just let it sit there. We'll tighten it up here in a minute. Next comes the wiring for the shift boot, so it will show the status of the gear that it's in. If you look on here, this is the center console piece that has the original one. You're going to want to take this harness off. Be careful with it. It's got a little tab there, so let's make sure we take it off without breaking it. Flathead might work better for that. There we go. So pop that out like so. This is going to plug into the tap that they give you here. This one's going to go in this spot here. You might want to break this loose here so you get a little extra slack. There we go. Pull that off. This is the original one. This is the one that originally plugged right into here. It is now going to go into this spot right here. So plug it in like so. Snap it into place. This one that's hanging off of it is going to go where the original one went, so it'll still feed the signal in. So pop that in real quick. And by process of elimination, the shift knob is going to plug in here once we get it all wired up. We're going to put this back in first before we do that though. Now this is that moment where I told you that it helps to have the car in neutral to be able to put the center console in. So what you're going to do is put the car in neutral, just so the shifter is out of the way here. Okay. Watch out for any wires that you may have like this, because I got my LED cup holders, which I don't even know if they're working right now. I hope so. Anyway, plug this back in here. All these three harnesses. All three are different sizes, so you can't plug the wrong one in to the wrong hole. It's fairly simple. That's what she said. Alright. Oh yeah. There we go. Now the LED cup holders are on. Gotta give it power. That common sense, right? Alright. Three harnesses are back in. You want to put the top in first. Slow and steady here. Make sure you don't disturb the new piece that you just put in here for the shift knob. Okay. Like so here. And make sure there's nothing in the way. Push it back into place. And I don't need cool seats on while I do this. Okay, everything is back in order. The only difference is this new addition here, which we're going to have to tuck out of the way once we hook the shift knob up. There's room down here. You just got to make sure it's out of the way of the shift mechanism once you plug it in. Now, put it back into park. And now time for the shift knob. Well, I attempted to use the little hose clamp that came with it, but I accidentally dropped it down in there. So now that we're going to put the shift knob on, make sure this is out of the way. You don't want to pinch any of the wires that are coming through. We're going to push this down onto here. Now the pressure of pushing it onto the shift knob, or the shifter itself, will hold it into place. I've already tested it a few times off camera to make sure it works. Just do not push this down too far. If you hit it down too far, apparently it has an issue with the car thinking that it's not in park. It'll physically be in park, but it'll say on the dash, please put car in park. So make sure that you don't push it down too far. Once you find the sweet spot and the button on the back here, well, you can't see it. Once the button on the back works, you'll be good to go. Make sure you get this knocked on here, and then plug this into the empty spot here. And then, since I dropped the hose clamp, I'm going to put a zip tie or two around here just to hold the wire into place onto the shifter, just so it doesn't wiggle around. Even though the shifter is going to stay on from the pressure, I'm going to just put this in here as a fail-safe to make sure it stays into place. I'm going to do that now, and then I'll show you afterwards. Okay, I got one zip tie around the base here. You can see it right there. just to hold the wire up against the shift knob and its assembly. And I put one here to keep the loop together, and then one here just to secure it. Like, they're loose, you can still move around. I just want to make sure this is nice and tidy right here, so once you move it, you can see, oops, sorry. There we go. You can see, I don't want that to get in the way of the manual mode. So now that it's nice and tidy up above, it won't get in the way anymore. Now you want to pop the trim back in around the shift knob here, which you might have to do in neutral. Put it in there. Now you'll see much shorter. It's functional. You can see the little release button here in the back, maybe. I know it's kind of crappy lighting. There's a release button right here for the park button. Make sure the shift boot isn't all tangled up in there. Get it nice and comfy. Might want to pull it up a little bit since it is shorter. Give it a little bit of look too, like so. See? It's now got a much shorter shifter. A little release button on the back there, you see? Let's see it in action. Sure, pull that up. We don't want it too tight in some areas, so you gotta play with the slack a little bit until you get it right. And there we have it. A successful install of the new Faces shift knob. See it in action. Reverse. Neutral. Drive. Pop it over. Up, down, which you can see still works. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Pop it back over. Notice it mirrors everything it sees there because of that splitter. Neutral. Reverse. You still have to use the button to get to reverse. All fully functional. And back to park. There you have it. I know this is long and complicated. I know I tend to ramble at times, but if you have any questions, any concerns, any problems, feel free to contact me or reply in this thread, and I'll do my best to help however I can. Thanks a lot, guys.